Well, hello and welcome once again to the Adventures Travel Club. We're going to go back this time, Betty, to Hong Kong for part 2 of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Hong
You
Kong's
never
such a great
can
place.
get enough of Hong Kong, can you? Oh
No,
my
that's for
God,
sure.
there's so much there to see and do, really.
Then we will be back and we'll be telling you about some of the upcoming trips that we do have. So stay tuned and let's go back to Hong Kong.
Can you imagine a more spectacular entry into any airport than the approach over high-rise buildings set into panoramic hillsides? That is just the beginning of an adventure to a land where Eastern and Western cultures have merged to form a vibrant city of color and contrasts. A city in motion. Situated on the southeast coast of China, Hong Kong occupies a central position in Asia. 7 major Far Eastern capitals are within a 4-hour flight. One of the world's most glamorous cities, the territory's wealth is reflected in its skyline, with more lifts being sold in 1 month than Australia sells in 1 year. In the city, too many people are jammed, crammed, and trammed into seemingly too small an area where everyone and everything is continually on the move. The vast majority of the population are of Chinese descent and are representative of every region in China. They are exuberant, energetic, shrewd, and cautious. They buy and sell, trade and gamble. Above all, they try, and many succeed, to get rich. Many believe that the Jockey Club has more power than the governor, and vast amounts of money change hands at the hundreds of betting offices around the territory, as well as at the 2 racetracks. Nighttime does not stop racing at Happy Valley and attracts thousands of punters. There are over 700 Rolls Royces, thousands of yachts and floating gin palaces, all the world's finest types of shop. Immense shopping centers with the world's greatest brand names. You can literally buy anything for a price. Let's take a look at the territory and her people. The clanging bell has been heard since the turn of the 20th century, when trams became part of city life. But just as there are few still operating in the world today, so their existence here is also in jeopardy. So before modern economic demands remove them forever, take a ride from the docklands of Western District past open markets and dried seafood stalls. For only a few cents, continue to the Central Business District, past financial giants, renowned shopping centers, and on to residential areas at the end of the line. The Mass Transit Underground Railway has transformed life in the city. It is fast, convenient, and well organized. 1 million commuters use the service daily, and the former continual congestion across the harbor and in the harbor tunnel has been much eased. The tunnel provides the only direct road link from Hong Kong Island to Kowloon and onto the new territories. But Hong Kong was not always like this. And in 1841, when the British flag was hoisted, many regarded the island as a barren rock, an unnecessary addition to the empire. However, the flair of British merchants and enterprise and the hard work of Chinese immigrants proved an unbeatable combination. So Hong Kong prospered and grew into the 20th century, and even today, there is an ever-changing skyline. The business world of Hong Kong is based in Central District, which houses a new stock exchange. Central is a mixture of high-rise office blocks, modern hotels with complete business services, and colonial-type buildings. All of the world's leading banks are represented. It is the world's third largest financial center, and the world's most expensive office buildings have risen here. The noonday gun is fired at that time each day, and this has been the case since 1869. Always witnessed by a representative of the Jardine Matheson Company, the gun is often fired by specially invited guests. Government House stands in all its colonial splendor. The governor is appointed by the British monarch, as Hong Kong is still a British territory, though the British flag is due to be lowered for the last time in 1997. From the dizzy heights of Victoria Peak, there is a bird's-eye view over Central District on Hong Kong Island with its wealth of skyscrapers, and along to the eastern residential areas. Across the harbor stands Kowloon, and further north, the new territories. Add 235 islands, and you have an area of just over 400 square miles, the home of almost 6 million people. Take an exhilarating ride on the century-old Peak Tram Railway. Tour buses and taxis wind their way up the mountain, bringing thousands of tourists and locals alike who stroll along the hillside paths and enjoy the many restaurants and gift shops. The breathtaking views make an unforgettable and lasting impression, and surely provide the most photographed locations in Hong Kong. It was on trade that Hong Kong first developed and prospered, offering early trading clippers one of the most perfect natural harbors in the world. Let's take a look at today's busy harbor. There are 10 star ferries plying back and forth between Hong Kong Island and the Kowloon Peninsula, as they have done since 1898. The trip is remarkably cheap and the system extremely efficient. Indeed, it has to be to successfully cater to so many people. The journey takes about 8 minutes, and it affords a great view of the harbor and surrounding skyline. The harbor has a constant flow of traffic. Hong Kong is a free port, and the heavier shipping, registered under many flags, berths at the western anchorage. You can take the water tours around the harbor or visit the famous floating restaurants of Aberdeen, where you choose a meal from the endless supply of fresh seafood. Aberdeen lies on the south side of Hong Kong Island, famous for its boat people and fishing industry. Aberdeen Harbor buzzes with activity. Boat dwellers go about their daily business overlooked by onshore high-rise development. Water taxis and fishing vessels mingle with tour boats in a varied and busy scene. Traditional and functional fishing craft contrast sharply with the luxurious modern boats moored at the nearby yacht marina. And though, as always in Hong Kong, space is at a premium, room is found for all. The Dragon Boat Festival is 2,000 years old and was formerly celebrated only by local fishermen. It is now an international event held in Hong Kong Harbor on a special course. Thus, the ancient Chinese tradition takes place with a modern backdrop that is Hong Kong. The longboats are ornately carved with painted dragons' heads and tails. The drummer pounds rhythmically to pace the oarsmen. The anticipation and excitement of the crowd builds with a series of heats. Physical prowess, stamina, and skill are all in evidence, and there is no doubting the fierce competition of the participants and the enthusiasm of the local commentator.
發力咯！香港中文大學2號龍啊，2號龍係稍為領前嘅啦，跟住就7號龍香港理工學院學生會，另外就係3號龍香港大學學生會，4號龍香港城市理工學院係稍為慢咗啲得，6號龍好用啊！教育學院龍舟聯隊而家又發力啦，睇嚟呢仲係香港中文大學領前，跟住呢就係7號嘅香港理工學院，6號嘅教育學院學生龍舟會，3號嘅香港大學學生會亦都係唔慢嘅，睇嚟呢仲係領前嘅香港中文大學，仲後啲嘅4號。
In particularly rough seas, many teams come to grief. But the rescue services are close at hand, for the crews in the boats are righted and returned to the start.
Don't tip the boat over, rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby, rock the boat, don't tip the boat over, rock the boat, rock the boat, rock on with your Betty, rock the boat, rock on with your Betty, rock the boat, rock on with your Betty, rock the boat, roll yeah, roll yeah, rock the boat.
There is a procession of lavishly decorated fishing craft, which is also a reminder that the festival commemorates the death of Qiu Yuan, who made the ultimate protest against a corrupt government by throwing himself into the Milo River. Local fishermen searched, beating the water with their oars, sounding drums and gongs to prevent the fish from eating him, but he was never found. The regatta is for men and women, and the start is a particularly tense time when the right preparation can lead to an early advantage. The ladies' team from Canton showed a clear superiority over their rivals. Boats range in length from 38 to 120 feet, and over 100 teams compete. 20 from overseas, coming from as far afield as Australia and Canada, Italy and China, Japan and the United States. The men's final is a thrilling climax to the 2 days of competition, fun, and excitement. competitors performed the traditional ceremony of throwing water over each other, ending one of the most famous of the many annual Chinese festivals celebrated in Hong Kong. Although Hong Kong gives the impression of being a modern society, its roots are deeply Chinese, with many of the elder inhabitants still respecting ancient Chinese traditions and culture. Tai Chi, a mental and physical discipline, is extremely popular, as is Kung Fu. Other traditional martial arts are performed by persons of all ages, usually under the guiding eye of a master. The elegance of a fan dance and group coordination prepares one for the day ahead. For many men, the opportunity to compare their birds is a daily ritual. The Sung emperors of China reigned from the 10th to the 13th centuries, a period in Chinese history rich in artistic and cultural heritage. The Sung Dynasty village recreates a famous scroll painting of that time. Enclosed by high walls, the village is entered through an imposing archway, and there is a tranquil stone garden adjoining the rich man's manor. A man-made river bordered by willows snakes through the village, spanned by a graceful stone bridge, and Sung art objects and antiques are exhibited in the courtyard. The village square has various shops where one can buy screen paintings, curios, and fans. Artists practice the ancient arts of calligraphy and finger painting. The Wax Museum is Hong Kong's largest, containing wax effigies of famous figures, adhering closely to facts recorded from China's 5,000-year history. Here one can trace the progress of political, economic, and cultural developments in China. There is also a large collection of valuable antiques on display. Monkey shows were popular entertainment in ancient China and still delight audiences today. They can bike, ride a rickshaw, and perform acrobatics and afford photographers many shots. The red sedan chair heralds the arrival of a bride, also dressed in red, which is the festive color of the Chinese. In distant times, when marriages were arranged, the betrothed couple often saw each other for the first time at the wedding ceremony. The girl was usually 15 and the boy 20. This delightful act demonstrates the art of mime and the use of hand and facial expressions. For centuries, generations of acrobats have entertained Chinese emperors and the nobility, and now thrill visitors to the village. The contortions performed have taken years of training, hard work, and discipline to perfect. Throwing chopsticks like daggers is not something members of the audience can achieve. Surprisingly, this is part of the art of Kung Fu, as is jumping from one tray of eggs to another. In China's imperial court, no entertainment was complete without music, dance, and opera. Elaborate costumes are used, and there is mime and swordplay. The resident dance troupe at the village presents palace dances such as the fan and fairy dances. These involve graceful hand movements and flowing costumes with emphasis on the dancer's face and expressions. The village is a monument to remind Hong Kong people of their ethnic background, of a history filled with color, the arts, and culture, and very much a part of their Chinese heritage. The zoological and botanical gardens above the Hilton Hotel in Central District are a source of relaxation and peace for the old and young alike. Waterfalls, wildlife, and exotic flora make this a haven amidst the day-to-day commercial activity and bustle around. Opened to the public by a philanthropist on the proceeds of a menthol ointment, Au Bun Ha Gardens in Causeway Bay is famous for its colorful, often grotesque statuettes which keep a close watch over the casual visitor. It possesses a 7-story pagoda, a classical feature of Chinese architecture and one of only a few left remaining in Hong Kong. Ocean Park and Water World are multi-million-dollar attractions, providing a fun-filled day out for the whole family, where thrill seekers ride the crazy galleon, the octopus, and for the ultimate thrill, ride the dragon.
Hello everyone, Betty and Marv here to remind you about the trips that we have coming up for this year, but you know what? We don't want to talk about that really.
We don't.
No, we want to talk about the stuff that we're planning for next year, for the year 2001.
Oh, Marv, we're just getting almost to a point where I've got things all in order now. We're going to plan for next year, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay,
Gotta
if you
plan a
say
year
so,
ahead, you know how it
be
is.
the boss.
Anyway, we want to go back to China. And
Yes.
if you would like to go with us, why don't you give Betty a phone call and say, hey, I'm a candidate for China. We'll also, of course, go back to the Holy Land. We're thinking about England, Ireland, and Scotland, Turkey, and South America. So if any of those interest you, give Betty a call and say, hey, Betty, I'm interested in going on one of those trips.
We don't have the brochures yet. These are all in the making right now. We're fomenting for next year.
And so, if you, in fact, you might have an idea of places that you would like to go. That would give us an idea for the year 2001.
I'm probably talking too much like I always do, but you know why we're going to China? Is because we go up to Guilin and we take the cruise and we're going to go to the Three Gorges and they're going to dam that up and this will be the last time anybody will be able to see it, within the next 3 years. So all of this magnificent part of China will be lost to everyone. So we want to get in there before this happens.
We want to see it before it's all covered with water.
And we want you to see it too.
Right. Give Betty a call at
488-7443.
Thank you. Betty, it's about time for us to go, so let's give the address in case people do want to give you a call or they want to write to you. They can write to the Adventures Travel Club, and Betty's phone number is 488-7443, or you can drop her a line at 1550 North Fresno Street, and that's Fresno 93703. But I would do it right away, right?
Oh, absolutely. By the way, congratulations. You remembered my phone number right off the bat.
I saw it on the screen.
You didn't have to say that.
Anyway, that's it for this edition. We hope to see you next time on Adventures Travel Club. Thanks for being with us.